I wanted to go ahead and start putting together a few thoughts, getting us in preparation for production of the Normal Heart. Again, before we go any further, I want to thank you all once again for saying yes to being this show. Each of you was handpicked by me to play the role you're playing. I have a vision for this show. I've had it for a long time, and the most important part of it is having the right cast and the right company. So thank you once again for agreeing to be part of this show. I promise you this is going to be an amazing journey and one that we'll cherish for the rest of our lives. Just a few things. As I mentioned, we're just a couple of weeks away from our first read through. It'll be Monday, September 19th at 7 p.m. here at my house. Most of you have been here before, but I've given you directions. Come as early as 6:30 that night for refreshments. We'll get going right at 7 o'clock. I don't plan on playing any silly Red Rover come over games to get each other to know each other. We're going to start reading right at 7 o'clock and I hope to get you done by 9:40, 9:45. The rehearsal schedule I posted in the Facebook page today. We start Monday, October 3rd. That's most of the cast is that night. Most of you are only called one night. A couple of you come twice, and then Ned and Felix come all 3 nights. We start at 7:30 p.m. Guys, that's a very firm start time. I chose 7:30 because I wanted to give you extra time to get home from work or school, have dinner, visit with your family, get some chores done around the house, and come to rehearsal. And as I mentioned too, I would like for you to come to rehearsals off book. That will help us a lot with the character development and with the blocking. That being said, and I mentioned this earlier, I want you to pay very careful attention to memorizing the lines word from word. One of the biggest signs of an amateur cheap production is seeing cast members who just slop out the words, who gloss over them, who paraphrase. That's not good theater, and that's not how this is going to work. But I do want you to pay careful attention that to commit the lines to memory. If you're going to do it, let's do it right. The the format from rehearsals pretty much we'll run each scene several times. We'll ask questions. We'll understand the motivations. These characters are coming from a very intense place in their lives. A lot of them are fighting for their lives. They have very complex issues. They have a lot to lose. Each of the characters has something big to lose, not just their life, but a lot of things. And what they have to gain for a lot of them is hope. So these are very challenging scenarios they're in, and we're going to have to spend some time working through them. But what I want you to do is to come to each rehearsal with a good attitude, ready to work hard, give it 100%. We find ourselves doing that during Tech Week, but I want you to condition your body and your acting voice to come to rehearsals ready to give 100% each night. Schedule I've got it outlined there. Again, most of you will come on Mondays. A few, Joy, you'll come back on Tuesdays, and then Josh and Chris Jones will as well, joined by Jonathan and Drew. And then Thursdays is just as I said earlier, Chris Jones and Josh Castles. Guys, it's if you look at it for the most part, most of you come only 5 rehearsals before Tech Week. That's not asking a lot, but it is asking for commitment to get the things done you need to get done when you're here. That's really why being on time for rehearsals is critical. I don't have a lot of rules. We're obviously adults. I expect us to act like adults, but I will say that overall, what I would say while we're an amateur production, it's really important that we focus and that we come to rehearsals with a positive attitude. We work hard. We're not late. We come in and we again while we're amateurs, we're going to behave like professionals and strive to have a professional component throughout this show. I've talked to a lot of people recently, and they've been talking about shows they've been involved with in the past. Not mentioning names, shows, or theaters, but they've relayed some really horrific experiences where they were just absolutely miserable. There was a lot of fighting in the cast, there was a lot of drama, a lot of diva fits. There was a lot of just, I think, in my mind, just poor leadership, and it contributed to people walking away and really saying, nope, nope, never again. And I think that's really terrible that that's the memory and the thoughts that we have from a show as we walk away from it. That's not what I want to have happen here. I want this to be something that we remember the show, but we also cherish the experience. We cherish the experience for a long time. Just a couple other things right quick. I had mentioned this earlier, Saturday, October 29th at 10 a.m. No one identified this as a conflict time. That will be the first and only time we'll run this show from start to finish before Tech Week. So I need everybody to be here. We'll be done by noon, 12:15. I know that's a busy weekend with Halloween parties that night, trick-or-treating that weekend. I'll have brunch at 9:30, and again, I'll have you out of here shortly after noon. That is an absolutely critical rehearsal. Also, Wednesday, November 2nd is an understudy rehearsal. Again, understudies are not guaranteed a performance. It's only kind of in a case of emergency. That'll be a chance for us to run this show one time. Again, and I'll have more information about that later. Other than that, enjoy this last couple of weeks before we get started. Work on your scripts, read, study, stay focused with that. Again, I'm very looking forward to this. A lot of things are happening, indicating this is going to be just a magical experience, and I can't thank you all enough for being part of it. If you need anything, give me a call, email, or send me a message. Be glad to get back to you soon. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.